Good morning, print fam. Probably shouldn't say morning because it's like noon. It's a couple minutes till noon. So, thanks for being here, print fam. Today we are just catching up on things. It is the 2nd of January. I've been on, well, I wouldn't really call it a vacation. We were on a trip. We went to visit some family in Wyoming. It was super cold. It was 0 degrees Fahrenheit, so let's see. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is negative 18 in Celsius. So super cold. Just hung out with family, had kind of a New Year's thing, and now we're back home. So got to get back into the swing of things. Got a bunch of emails to go over. I keep trying to get to inbox 0. I currently have 60 messages, 32 of which are unread. So definitely not a happy place to be. Oh, just got another one. Good thing that's just junk mail. So lots going on today, lots to go. Got to go through Monday.com. But before I do that, I wanted to, there was one specific comment that I really liked the other day. Let me see. Okay, so it was from Todd H. He talks about something else, but then he specifically says, what I've noticed is that you don't meet your goals almost every video. What about setting goals that are obtainable at first, then moving on to the larger goals? That way at least you meet some type of goal and expand in them on them later. I always set short, medium, and long-term goals and review them daily. How can we get you to feel like you're succeeding more often? So, Todd, I appreciate the comment, and I've thought a lot about it over the last day. And my goal, and I do agree that setting a more obtainable goal for certain things is helpful. For me, the reason why I set my $1,000 a day goal is because of the money that I need to make. I do have some savings set aside for when I quit, but let me just show you physically. Typically, printing promotional products has a 50% margin. So if my goal is to make $1,000, then instantly I take away $500 of that. And I take the $500 for the cost of goods sold. So that leaves me, if I make $1,000 a day, then roughly my profit is $500 a day. And with a profit of $500 a day, that leaves me, I say take the other half, so take half of this for business expenses. And this would be things like software, website, tools, the printers, all that type of stuff. And then the last 250 is kind of left over for me. That's what I need to make. It's probably not accurate. It's more like what I want to make. I could get away with less, and obviously I am, since I'm not meeting my goals. And meeting my goal hasn't been super crucial until I quit my job. But like I said, we set aside some savings to kind of help with that. I guess just to go over my coming year, my goal as far as for me, I'd like to do $250,000 in sales this coming year. And again, if you do the math, then you take 50% away for cost of goods, that leaves $125,000 of profit, and that $125,000 has to go towards all the expenses of the business plus paying me. So that's kind of my goal for the next year, is to do $250,000 in sales. I do think it's attainable. This last year, the business ended off at about $120,000 in sales, And so to me, for the majority of the year doing it part-time, I don't think $250,000 is unobtainable. I do think I have a lot of work ahead of me to make things process better and flow better and just be more on top of things. But that's kind of, I guess, the reason behind it is can't even write here, is I've got $1,000 goal. I've got 500 of that taken away for cost of goods, and then half of that for expenses, and then that leaves the rest for me, hopefully. But that's just kind of the goal. Would it be better to set a more obtainable one? Yes, but this is where I want to be, and so this is what I want to track. Hopefully someday it's higher than that, and hopefully someday I'm not really worried about tracking the daily income. Definitely will track it and keep everything up to date in my QuickBooks and stuff, but not necessarily as focused on bringing in the $1,000 a day. So that's kind of why, but appreciate, Todd, the question. I definitely know for some people it'd be more helpful to have that obtainable goal. Frankly, 500 would probably be more obtainable, but it seems, I guess for my business, it seems like my flow of cash goes like this. So it's like nothing, and then I get a huge spike where it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then it drops back down. And then it's nothing, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and drops back down. And that's just because the nature of me working business to business, and most of them pay me 30 days delayed. But appreciate that. Appreciate all the other comments about my question of charging for 3-hole punches. I've decided at this point that I'm not going to charge for 3-hole punch just because it doesn't cost me anything. And there's no extra maintenance fee from Konica to have the 3-hole punch. There's no service charge or anything like that. It's just a feature that my machine has, and it can punch it. I didn't end up charging my neighbor before, and part of that was I called UPS and said, hey, what do you charge for this type of print? Great, well, what if I want you to 3-hole punch it? And their response also, which is why I didn't charge initially, was, well, our machine will just do it, so there's no extra charge for it. I kind of agree with what Just a Printer said. He said, don't charge 3-hole if it doesn't cost you anything more. If it causes you extra labor, then charge. Your customers will remember your generosity and come back with more work. And that's very true. It's like I've been talking to Bob a little bit over the last few days, is you don't want to be the lowest on everything, but when you have a good customer, make sure you treat them right, because they'll remember that and continue to come back. So I am going to take the stance of Just a Printer. Dan, thank you for that, as well as it's kind of what UPS does, so how can I justify charging for it when they're my closest competitor? So, okay. On with the day. Thanks for being here. I'll check in a little bit. All right, print fam, it has been a couple of hours. I have gotten through quite a few things. I now have 31 emails with only 16 of them unread. So good progress made. I made a couple of proofs for some business cards and got those sent out to the customer. Unfortunately, so this is a real estate or I never know the right one. They're a realtor company. So they got a bunch of agents that work for them. They are doing 4 different sets of cards, and usually I love this type of customer because they have so many sub customers, but this one they let each agent do their own design, which is super frustrating because it's not like when I do business cards for Farm Bureau, who's an insurance company. They have 3 or 4 approved. Technically, I think they only have 2 approved ones right now, but I still use the old ones because people want them. So it's like, well, do you want this version, or this version versus this Realty company? It's like, well, do whatever you want. So it's kind of frustrating, but it is kind of nice just to get the orders. So they're doing 4 sets, got those sent off. The secretary responded and said, oh, this person is sick, so hopefully I'll find out tomorrow. So we'll see kind of how that goes, but got some more emails to go through, a couple of quote requests. I'm also working on a building sign, and I don't do those, so this is an outsourced project. I found a local company that does them for me. They don't give me a huge discount, but they do give me 10% off, and frankly I charge more than just 10% over. Got a building sign. They're actually installing it today, which is super nice. They were expecting it to take a couple of weeks, and they emailed me today saying, hey, this is going in. So I'll be able to bill my customer. I think profit-wise on that job, it'll be $400 or $500, and labor was like 15 minutes in Illustrator to set up the file, and probably 30 minutes worth of emailing back and forth. So not bad, not bad. So yeah, more emails to go through. I don't think I have any production work today, so just talking head stuff, updates, kind of the mundane stuff involved with the business. I think the only thing that I want to remind you of is I am going to PPAI, so that's almost a week away, a little bit more than a week, and I'd love to know if there's any vendors that you want me to go visit kind of on your behalf. If you're not going to be there, or if you're going to be there, reach out to me. I'd love to know if you're going to be there, maybe meet up, say hi. But if there are any vendors, so I'll leave the vendor list down in the description. But if there's any that you want me to go stop by, record, ask questions, let me know. Okay, onward, upward, just a precursor. Probably not gonna meet my goal today. All right, Print Fam, I'm gonna call it a night. It's almost 7 o'clock. Came out a little later today, so worked a little bit later. Didn't get out here, like I said, till about noon. Got my emails down quite a bit. I'm down to 23 emails with 10 unopened. A few quotes in there and a few things that I still need to do, but I'm feeling really good about what I got accomplished today. One of the biggest things that I worked on was I'm doing some work for a franchise, and I'm making a website for them so that their people can just go and click things and order them. So I'm doing it via WordPress. So I've got that site kind of laid out. I added some products. It's actually, I won't show you the actual website just to keep their privacy, but we've got number 10 envelopes, some business cards, some bigger envelopes, mugs, mints, pens, post-it notes, a starter kit, some presentation folders, and some decals. The starter kit consists of a bunch of products that when they sign up as a new franchise, they can order for free as part of their franchise acquisition or purchase, and then the others are just there. So I got a lot of the products set up, got all the pricing done. We're actually, there are these presentation folders. They're blue one side with some holes and some foil on the other, and they're gonna order, well, I'm gonna order about 2,000 of them. They have two different versions of their logo depending on what type of franchise you are. So I gotta order those tomorrow, and I'm gonna stock them just because there's no customization to them. They don't put their name, address, or anything. It's just the logo. So I've got to talk to the company. I use a company called Navitor/Folderworks. So I've got to get those ordered. Other than that, everything is just kind of one-off custom things. What got me working on this today was while I was on my little trip, I had an order for some business cards and some envelopes. Not a huge order, totaling about $50, but it should pick up here in the next few months as we get more of the franchisees aware and as they even sign up more franchises. So no production today, unfortunately. I did not meet my goal, but I did work on a few things to help get me there some more. Just basically trying to expand the avenues of making money. So I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But part of what I might transition my goal to is, rather than money received, money invoiced because I definitely would hit the goal more often if I changed it to invoiced instead of just received. Because like I said, usually I go on these big punches of, hey, I need payment, and I'll call them and get payments if they haven't sent it and different things. So usually I peak and then drop, and anyway, besides the point. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about what I do, why I do it, how I do it, etc. You can leave those down in the comments. Any useful links you'll find in the description. You can also support the channel monetarily, but I appreciate you just watching, sharing, liking, etc. So thanks as always for being here, Print Fam. Thanks Cam for editing the videos, and we'll see you next time.